friends, we could mob out. Back to my house, yeah, we could vibe out. And we kick them all out, girl, you're mine now. We could drink a little wine just to wind down. Oh, you a freak, let me find out. Oh, you in trouble now, time out. You walked up in your Giuseppe's. Have you waking up and only freshly? We could kick it like Messi. Like Messi, yeah.
Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the Have Nots podcast. Jason Carter, along with the one and only Joseph Frank. Was it you dabbing? You might want to lay off the dabbing, man.
I know. We don't want to talk about what happened last Tuesday with the Rapid Dab. We want to stay on topic today with Big Brother.
Yeah, the Rapid Dad was definitely not your friend. One thing that was definitely not very friendship in the house last week, I guess you can say, is the blind side that took place in the live evictions. Ramses went home. Josh, he stayed. Jessica, totally blindsided by that. Of course, we left you off last Monday in our beautiful South Bend, Indiana studio. Me and you were for certain Josh was going.
Yeah, we really were. And why would you keep Josh? I understand why they did it, but like for me on a personal level, he's so annoying. And we'll get into like yesterday's episode later on in the show and all his shenanigans, but why do you want him around other than to take a bullet for you later in the game?
And I mean, I think that's the main thing right there. Hey, he's going to take a bullet for a Paul. He's going to take a bullet for Christmas, for Alex. Like, he is if there's anybody being used in this house, Josh is being used right now more than anybody in this house because I think the house guests know Cody and Jess want to get him out first. And it's pretty much that side of the house against Cody and Jessica. I guess now you can say even Mark and Elena. As last week when we left you off, everybody was trying to bid for their spot in the house. Jessica ended up putting Josh and Ramses up, but Mark and Lana right back to day one, and even last week it got even more kind of crazy with that, where Mark and Cody are now back to being BFFs.
Yeah, it was everybody basically just trying to cozy up to Jessica and Cody because they had all the power. They were the HOH, trying to steer their mindset, but really we know that they really didn't care. They were just doing it for the sake of doing it to try and save themselves. In all reality, they don't want to work with Jessica. They don't want to work with Cody. They just wanted to save their butts. Except for Mark and Elena, who really went to bat for them last week. They stayed with their votes. They didn't get flipped by Paul. Paul didn't keep them in on the plan to blindside them and get rid of Ramses. So it kind of divided the house. Like Ramses, another floater, gone. And really, it's those four against everybody else.
Yeah, Mark kind of said some things to Paul that Paul didn't like last week, and that's why Paul kept him in the dark. Paul didn't even attempt to say, hey, this is where we're going with this. He's like, you know what? No, we already got the votes that we need. We know where you guys are going. There's no reason for me to tell you what's going on because right now, Mark, he was kind of saying, hey, me and Cody, we're back to square one.
Yeah.
He's my boy. He's my bro. When Mark and Paul were playing pool. So, I think Paul really all right, why should I have you why should I tell you what our plan is?
I think he said, thanks for all the red flag ammunition. And he was like checking it off. I was like, yep, okay, thank you very much. Don't need to keep you in on my plans this week because I see where you're at, where your head's at this week. So, Mark basically did himself in.
Oh, yeah, Mark definitely did himself in. And Elena right now being with Mark could potentially hurt her game. We will find out this week. But also, last Wednesday we had the veto competition, which was won, of course, by Jessica. So she controlled all the power in the house last week. Somehow did not use the veto.
It's so dumb. You had to use the veto. There's one way to guarantee Josh going home, and it was to take Ramses off and put literally anybody else up. Anybody else, they would have gotten rid of Josh. Even Kevin. I think they find Kevin more valuable than they do Josh.
Oh, right now, Kevin, he's one of the most valuable players from both sides.
He's playing both sides.
This guy does no idea how to even play Big Brother going into this season. He has no idea. He didn't know who Nicole was when she came back in the house. We saw the comp last week with the tattoos. He had no idea who Glenn was. He was like, who's that guy?
Who's Glenn?
And they're like, it's Glenn. He's like, huh?
Glenn who?
He had no idea, which is awesome. Kevin, him and Paul, he's like, all right, Paul, what are we going to do this week? Yeah, you're right. We should do that. All right, now we're going to, hey, Jessica, guess what we're doing this week?
Yeah.
We're going to blindside you. And I'm still going to vote out Ramses.
Yeah, I like how he does it. I like how he does it. He brings her into the toilet, not even like just the bathroom area. They're both in the toilet area. He's like, the little kid with the glasses is going home. Like, say his name. Say, like, you're acting like his dad throughout the whole game. He's like, the little kid with the glasses is going home. Like, I love it. I love Kevin.
And then he votes him out, and yet his video is still like, hey, man, don't worry. Thanksgiving, my house is coming. Like, you think Ramses is going to go to Thanksgiving to watching these episodes?
I do. I still think, Kevin's a genuine guy. It's just better for his game right now to say, all right, I'm sorry, kid, got to send you home. I got to keep Josh because that's a guy who's going to go before me. So, yeah, I think he's not going to take it personal. I think these two had a real connection. And honestly, I will love to see if Ramses does actually go to Thanksgiving at Kevin's house because I think he's going to.
There should be a Twitter picture somewhere out there for all of us Big Brother fans to see if that really happens. But anyways, Ramses did go home. Jessica not use the power veto. Literally, like you said, she could have put anyone up, and it would have took Josh out of the house.
And she knew it too because she's like, my gut's telling me to use it. My gut's telling me to use it. Well, your gut's telling you to use it. Guess what? Use it. It's not hard.
And I like how when Cody left the house and Julie Chen said, hey, Cody, what would you do different? He's like, I'd probably listen to Jess more.
And he's not listening to her.
Jess is like, hey, I should use the veto. Nah, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to do that. You don't want to open a can of worms. I've been down there.
And we'll get into it later, but yesterday he was going against her too. It's like you said, I'm going to listen to Jess. I'm going to listen to Jess. She's got good intuition in this game. And you're not doing it. The one thing you said you were going to do, you're not doing.
So his game is definitely... still hasn't changed, I guess you could say. Who knows what's going to happen this week? Flash forward to really the HOH competition happened on Thursday. It was the true or false competition about the tattoos that were on the bodies that showed up, I believe, on Wednesday night. They showed up around the house. Kevin had no idea who Glenn was.
That's a tough comp because you only get a limited amount of time to look at the tattoo boards on the screen. So it's a tough comp to win. Paul obviously has been in a competition like that before because they play it every year. They play competitions like it where you got to study. And I think they were up all night trying to remember, okay, who had this, who had what in the HOH room or in a different room around the house. I believe I saw that on Twitter. So they came in prepared, most of them, and it was just, what do you remember? What do you don't?
I mean, yeah, that one is tough. Also, the veto competition they did last week with the shakes, the smoothie, like those have got to be the two toughest competitions. I love that competition. You gotta, Jessica is like, all right, I'm just gonna sing it out like this.
That's the strategy.
Like her and Cody. I mean, obviously Cody was gonna throw it. Like, all right, he said, save your hair. How funny would it have been though if she got it wrong too?
Yeah, right.
On that one.
That competition, I think every year the person who wins it was Bridget. It was Victoria, or not her name. That's not her name. Tiffany's sister, I forget her name. Right. She was the poker player, but I think that's the same strategy every year. Is they sing it out, and that's the best way because that's how you're going to beat it in your head. You're going to sing the ingredients, and you're just going to need to answer the question.
I try to remember whenever it comes on. I was like, all right, I want to get these.
Right.
So I'm like sitting there, berry,
guava, ginger.
I'm just confused. Like I don't know. It's like I literally just saw it too. So.
And you saw Jason in the veto competition. Like I'm an auctioneer. I memorize stuff for a living. I got this in the bag. First one, he gone.
Josh, of course, exited along with Ramses. Ramses ends up going out of the house. And Paul is your new head of household. How come we don't do the head of household room anymore?
Well, they do.
Well, they don't show it.
They don't do it every
TV,
time.
I believe they showed Paul's.
They showed his first one. They're not going to show it again.
But I don't think they showed Jessica's. I don't think Alex's.
And they have the option.
Cody's didn't get showed.
Cody was the first HOH, so there's no time.
Yeah, it really isn't anything to show there.
They have the option, I believe. And Cody said he told his parents, don't send letters. I don't want any pictures. I don't want anything. So they have the option. Like, if you want people to see it, go ahead. But obviously they don't. The only one that's shown anything is Paul. I mean, it won't be the only one. Somebody else will show their room. They're not going to not do it for, however long they're in there. It's like, another month and a half now?
Yeah, I guess, as they are coming up on day 40 now?
I think they just have the option. It's up to them, really. So some of these house guests don't want to show it, and they're not going to show Paul every time because he can very well win 2 more HOHs in the summer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He could win 2 more HOHs. He is one of the strongest competitors in the game, along with Cody. The difference, though, between those two, Paul knows how to play the social game. Cody, not so much.
And this is my beef this year with this. They did a terrible job of picking this cast. There are no competitors in this game. Alex says, "Yeah, Paul, you deserve to win. You should." What is that, Cody? If you remember, Cody Calafiore, part of the Hitmen with Derek. Paulie's older brother played the game. He is destroying Big Brother on Twitter for this. Every time I see him tweeting, it's like, yeah, what a cast, what a great competitor we have in this game. Because they're all basically telling him, yeah, Paul's going to win. We already know that. We're just here for fun. Like, what is that? If you're going there, if you want to be there, you should be there to win and win $500,000. I don't understand why you're there to let somebody else beat you. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't get that. I don't get the showmances. I mean, if I'm in a showmance, you know what? I'm getting somebody out. Like, you know what? It's $500,000.
Yeah.
What's the chances of me and you actually working out after the house?
None.
Pretty slim.
You look at James and Natalie from last season. Natalie's got a lawsuit going against James right now. Like it has worked out 2 times, I think, that I can remember, with Jeff and Jordan, and then there's another, I forget their names, but they're married, they have a kid already. So I can think of 2 off the top of my head that are like married, and even Jeff and Jordan had marriage counseling because it wasn't working out. They were able to work through it, but the odds of it working are slim to none. Because once you get out of that house, you go back to normal, you go back to wherever you came from, you're not together 24/7, 7 days a week. So, I mean, stuff changes, and I just don't get it. I don't get a lot of the stuff that's going on. Why would you want to let somebody beat you? You should be there cutthroat. If I won HOH next week and I'm in Paul's alliance, I'm getting Paul out, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Definitely got to get Paul out. But when you look at the competitors, though, like, you look at Mark. All right, Mark, he should be really good at competitions. Not so good. You look at Matt. Matt should be really good at competitions. Not so good. You know, even Jason, like, Jason should be really good at competitions. Not that good. Josh, he's a big guy, too. Like, looks like somebody who can hold his own.
Josh is
when you just look at him, he's like, what the heck is wrong with these guys? Like, y'all absolutely suck. I mean, Mark finally wins his first competition yesterday. The Temptation, what were they calling it?
Temptation competition.
The Temptation competition. Was that the legit name for
I don't know if it was a legit name, but that's what we're calling it.
And it was the temptation, part of the punishment, I guess you can say, from Jessica accepting the halting hex, which last Thursday, after HOH, Julie congratulates Paul. Jess is like, well, I'm safe for the next couple of weeks. Me and Cody both are. What are you going to do now? And Paul's like,
I'm going to put you up, essentially.
I'm going to put you up because I want to see what's up here. Like, what works out here? I wish anybody but Paul would have won this HOH because I knew it was going to be a waste of an HOH. After Jessica said that,
right?
It's like, man, Matt or Raven win this HOH. You're like, because it's going to be a waste of an HOH. I know right now Paul is trying his hardest to make sure Jessica doesn't use the hex. And, he's throwing out some promises to people. He was talking to Elena last week. Hey, you need to get yourself away from Mark because Mark is with Cody, and being with Cody hurts your game.
Being with Mark hurts your game, too. I mean, what does he really add to Elena other than somebody to cuddle with, I guess? So he doesn't win competitions. We've seen him win one comp, but that was just to secure his own safety. So he hasn't been a comp beast. He hasn't been great in the social game. I mean, he's been in fights with Josh. He's been, he's been with Cody, away from Cody, now back with Cody. He's not good for you.
He's been with Paul, against Paul.
Yeah, he's been on both sides. It just hasn't been good for Elena's game. So I think she'll be the one that'll distance herself. I've seen all this with Cody and Jess and the same thing. Paul's trying to get Jess to flip. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be Elena who flips and leaves Mark on his own, while Jess will stick with Cody no matter what.
Yeah, it'll be real interesting to see what the TV wants to show us coming up this Wednesday, because there's some good stuff going on between Paul and Jester right now, and even Paul and Cody. There's going to be some fireworks on this show, and on Sunday after it aired last night, I was like, well, this week's going to be a waste. This week looks like it's going to be some good TV, actually, on Big Brother this upcoming Wednesday and Thursday.
And Paul thinks if she uses whatever hex or the temptation that she has, he thinks he's just going to be able to put up 2 more people. That's what he keeps saying, my backup plan. Well, there is no backup plan. Like, you're going to be not competing in HOH, and you won't have gotten anybody evicted. So then Cody could very well go and win himself an HOH. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to put you up, and he's going to put Matt up, I think. Or maybe Paul and Alex up. So, I mean, that's going to be game-changing.
I think the funniest thing about it is Jessica talking about how Paul's wasting his HOH. Did she know what happened last week?
Yeah, she wasted
she pretty much wasted an HOH to get Ramses out. And, man, I feel bad for the guy. I really do. Like, Ramses, when he first came into the house, I remember I was texting like, God, this cast is annoying. Get this cosplayer out of here. Like, I just want to get the annoying people out of the way first. That's why, I still can't stand Josh. I'm getting tired of the hashtag meatball whatever each and every week.
Josh needs to go. It's not even funny. He's so annoying. He's not a good person. I don't care what anybody says. He's literally
but
being...
you're a good person.
He's being used. He's a puppet. I mean, and he's the most annoying puppet I've ever seen in my life. This guy needs to go.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be real interesting to see what happens. Of course, Paul... If I'm in his shoes, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, all right, let's see. Because he was even saying, when Jessica said that, Cody kind of looked nervous. He kind of read it that way. And then Jess is like, well, do you want to talk about what I got here? And he's like, well, what's there to really talk about? And then she's like, I'm not really spilling the beans.
Which you should.
She was just like,
she's
like, me and Cody are safe. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Like, and Paul, if I'm in the house, my thinking, I mean, obviously we knew everything, but if I'm in the house playing, no idea what's going on, my thinking is, how can she save herself and Cody both within the next couple of weeks? Like, something's got to be fishy here.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the same thing. Like, all right, Jess, Cody, you're up, because maybe she does have this thing. Maybe she can just save herself.
Well,
like, he doesn't know.
If I'm in Paul's shoes,
completely destroy the eviction.
If I'm in his shoes, I'm kind of going to believe her, because I'm aligned with 8, 9, 10 people in this game. And if I ask all them and none of them have it, guess what? What are the odds? Cody wasn't here. She probably has it. If you do the math, I mean, I'm not a math guy, but if you're doing the math, the odds are pretty good that she has the hex.
Yeah, and if Ramses had it, he would have used it.
He would have used it. So, I mean, you can pretty much figure out that, okay, she's probably telling the truth. I don't want to waste my HOH. I got to go after somebody else. That's how I thought of it. And now that he kind of didn't go that way, and he's calling him out, which he's going to be wrong, because, if you're Jessica, you have to use it. So he's going to waste his HOH, and I hope Cody goes out there and just wins an HOH. That'll be amazing.
But we saw this last year with Paul, too, where, like, when what's the word I'm looking for here? He really wants to know, like, what's going on. When something, he's like, hang on, what's this? He likes to invest a little bit more time in something. We saw last year with the competition. What's the competition with the plane and the secret stuff?
Oh, where they were trying to figure... I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Where they actually walked into, like, the Den of Temptation room.
Right,
it is now.
The secret room.
Yeah, where he was, like, trying to figure out what was going on. Like, and he was the only one that, like, stood with it and got in there first.
Because that was where they had to dial on the telephone.
Yeah,
and then
the bottom
of the booth popped open and they crawled through.
Like, if he's like, hang on, no, what's going on here? He's trying to, like, figure out exactly what's up, and that's just kind of Paul's, like, intuition. Like, that's how he operates. Like, something doesn't seem right here. Let me dig a little more here. And then he used it. And he, like, looked right at Jess, like, I don't hear any hissing sounds. This must be good. Then he put up Cody. Nothing here. All right, I think I'm in the clear.
Right.
But apparently, only works on eviction day.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, yeah, it's going to work. It has to be after the veto. Because Jessica has it, so what if she wins the veto, and then she takes herself down and she doesn't have to use it? You know what I mean? So, like, because she doesn't have to use it on Cody. So it would have to be on eviction night. I think I saw a tweet that said she asked CBS to actually let her use it after the vote comes in. But that's not going to happen. It'll be on eviction night at the ceremony. And if she uses it, the ceremony will be over. The week will essentially have been a wash. You can put that in the rear view, and they'll go right into an HOH.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting right now, kind of reading some live Twitter feeds here.
I'm reading something on Twitter that someone who's a Dominique superfan, Dominique obviously gone, and her name's Lola, at Lola Rosa 76, says, restart the season with a new cast, only bring back Cameron, Dom, and Ramses. And she has notes attached that give reasons why people should not come back. Paul bullied Dominique. Christmas allowed Dom to take the fall. Mark, no backbone, turned his back on Dom. Are you seeing a pattern here?
Well, she seems to be the world's biggest Dom fan.
Yeah, and Raven, hashtag Raven Exposed Party. I don't know what this is, but every other tweet that I've seen on the Big Brother 19 is Raven Exposed Party and videos of Raven dancing. So I don't know what happened. Raven got exposed for something.
Oh,
this is interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea. Seeing a few things where some people are talking about taking out Paul and Raven both this week.
Really?
Or to where they're going to put him on the block and Paul's going to be the one out. So I have no idea what exactly is going on right now in any of this here. Paul, he's still trying to figure out a way to get Jess to not use the hex. So it's going to be a fun week. Obviously, Jessica, you use the hex.
You have to use the hex. 100%. If you don't win the veto, and if you think Cody's still going to go, you have to use the hex. You have to keep keeping yourself safe, and you have to hope that one of you wins HOH next week. That's the only way you can keep moving on. Because you know what? If you pick off Paul by winning HOH next week, it's going to be a bunch of little puppies in the house with no one to follow. And who knows what's going to happen then? Because they have.
But all what would the puppies do?
Exactly. What would they do?
Would
we
they
don't
vote
know.
Paul out? They're not going to vote Paul out.
I think they would have you. If it's me and I'm one of those, you have to see the threat that Paul is. You cannot win the game with Paul in the house. period.
But there's no competitors, like we talked about.
Right.
Like,
So you have to hope that at least some of them can see. You only have to get enough votes to tie Jessica or Cody. If their HOH can break the tie, send them home. You have to see that you cannot win with Paul here. So you have to hope that they can realize that and try to make a big move. Because this is Big Brother. Like, you have to make big moves to win. So for all these people to sit behind Paul and let him pet their heads and say, good job, and he's telling them when to eat, he's telling them when to drink, he's telling them where to go, what to say, what to do. I mean, come on. Break out of it. Let's go. Play the game.
Yeah. If I'm Matt's been playing this. No, I'm a team player. You know what, Matt? Look, like, you are built like you could be a beast in this game. I'm pretty sure, like, you have some athletic bones in your body where you can take down Cody.
Yeah.
Where you can take down Mark. You can take down Josh. Like, you can take down Paul. You got to do it, man. Like, go for it.
Like you were saying earlier, it's not a team game. I don't care if you're a team player. It's not a team game.
Like, you can have your alliances and your ride or dies, but I feel like right now, like, there really isn't a strong, like, ride or die mentality in this season. You have your showmances, obviously, but even that is kind of getting exposed.
Right.
With Cody and Jessica talking about some day one stuff. I mean, Elena, she's starting to distance herself from Mark. Matt and Raven, they just kind of cuddle. I really don't know what's up with that.
Yeah. They don't get any airtime as a showman.
I was glad Matt was able to change into a nicer shirt for the live eviction, then right back into his Texas cutoff. Other than that, I mean, Paul and Alex, they're like a secret alliance, which maybe they are, kind of going to the end. But
I think Alex would be more aligned to Jason towards the end. Yeah,
I think her and Jason are more aligned towards each other. So, I mean, it's one of those things. Kevin's my boy. I think Kevin's my favorite right now.
Yeah, Kevin, I think he's my number one right now. I still like Paul. Like, for all the stuff we're saying about Paul and how they got to get him out and all that, Paul's still one of my favorite players because he's playing a really good game. Like, credit where credit's due. He's playing the best game in the house right now.
Yeah, and I mean, Paul, I'm a big Paul fan. I love Paul. If I was in the house right now, Paul would be my ride or die.
Yeah.
I'd play it out with him. And my wife hates that. She hates that I like Paul so much. I mean, Paul really did flip the house last week to vote because he was even himself like, no, we're getting Josh out. And he's like, well, wait a minute. What would be better here? Josh in the house because he really talks a whole lot of crap to Jody, or do I keep Ramses out? What's he really bring to the competition?
Ramses brings nothing.
Ramses, he did blow that veto contest, but wasn't the way I thought he would blow it. So, yeah, we can get rid of him. To me, man, I think Kevin's the favorite to win this thing right now. And I think it might be because he has no idea what is even going on. And nobody's even suspecting him of anything. He took $25,000. They all thought Ramses had it. Yeah. Ramses got out of the house last week, so they're like, all right, well, there goes that guy.
Yeah.
If Kevin wins, I think he's going to get America's House vote. That's another $25,000. That's $50,000 he would win. Second place wins $50,000. Like, Kevin, he's the winner already in my book. I think he might win this game just because, like, he's really playing both sides, but nobody has any idea. Like, he's like, hey, me and Jess, we're good friends, yada, yada, but I want to do what you guys want. And nobody's even, like, picking up on it. They're like, whatever.
I don't think he's my favorite to win. He'll be jury. He'll be top 5 maybe. But, I mean, they could essentially get him out whenever they want. Like, the people in power, like, he's not winning competitions. So it's kind of like, it reminds me of, like, a Victoria thing almost physically where she's not going to win any comps. And you can get her out whenever you want. So it's just one of those things where you have to, in my opinion, to win the game, you have to win comps. And I don't see Kevin doing that.
There's going to be something. He's going to win something.
Well, I mean, he's already made an impact, and I'm sure other there will be shows or opportunities for him to do outside of the house after it's over, because people love him.
Oh yeah, I love Kevin. I'm hard on Kevin. Raven rapping. All right, so apparently Raven's getting exposed here all over Twitter.
The place, yeah.
I don't know. I guess they found her YouTube channel.
We're gonna have to look into
and they're
this
just
kind
of going back and forth on her YouTube channel about what's going on with Raven. Man, I really want to say what's going on right now because I'm seeing these tweets roll in. Looks like some crazy stuff is happening.
There's tons of them.
Tons of stuff. Video meeting apparently has taken place. Won't give you the spoiler though because we're nice here. Or no spoiler family here.
No spoilers.
But hashtag Raven Exposed is probably going to be on Wednesday. I guess you can see that.
Right.
These Big Brother hashtags are so great, right? Like I just love them.
Yeah, it's
the meatball ones are getting kind of lame.
The meatballs got to go, and that's with Josh. Josh has to go too. That goes hand in hand. Josh, meatball, hashtags, stop it, knock it off, go back to Miami, go sell your hair care products, because frankly I can't stand to watch. When he was on yesterday, pots and pans pounding them against each other, are you kidding me?
Oh, I would have slapped the crap out of him.
I didn't find that funny at all. I don't know why people were laughing. If I was Mark, and Mark is a giant, that dude is ripped, shredded. If I was Mark, I would have picked him up, thrown him into the pool, jumped in with the pots and pans, and just started banging him over his head like, hey, how does this sound? How does this sound? I was trying to sleep. Like,
then he would have been voted out, or not
I
voted,
understand.
but kicked out of the house.
I understand. But come on, Josh. That's so childish. Grown men in this house. Grown men, grown women. And you're banging pots and pans around, walking around like you're a 6-year-old kid. Get real.
So when do you think Cody snaps in this house?
It's coming.
Cody's got to go off on somebody, right? Cody's going to end his game by just getting kicked out, I believe.
Well, he does have the military training where he should be able to keep his cool.
He's a Marine, though, man. I was in the Air Force, and those Marines, they're a whole different, kind of mentality.
I think he's going to end up being okay. I think if he stays this week, which he should because of the hex, and wins next week, watch out. Because he already told him, I'm coming for blood. If you screw me on this vote, I'm coming for blood. Guess what? Next week's his chance.
The way he went after Jason was the greatest thing
Jason,
ever.
Are you threatening me?
I will just look. I was like, oh my God, Cody. I just love his facial expression. I love seeing him pissed off.
Right.
He's like one of those guys, you watch football, you see a coach just get really mad and angry. You're like, I like watching him get really mad and angry. You're like, I love watching Cody get really pissed off. When he's happy, I'm scared.
Right.
I just love seeing pissed off Cody.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It'll be a fun week. Of course, Wednesday night we have the veto competition, the veto meeting, and I guess Thursday we'll find out the hex finally making us wait 4 days just to pull Jess and Cody off the block. But who knows? Maybe she's like, screw it. Do you think she says screw it?
I don't think she does, personally, but anything can happen.
$500,000, man. That's a lot to throw from somebody you've just known for 40 days.
Yeah, but you're going to need him to get to the end. He's your comp beast. You're going to need him to get to the end. And Paul, you cannot trust.
You can't trust Paul. Or Kevin. That's why I think they're both going. They're probably going to ride and die right now. We just don't know about it.
We might. I mean, we could see that.
He hasn't shown us anything about Paul and Kevin being together. They're probably bestest of friends all throughout the house. So who knows what's going to happen this week? We think we know, but hey, last week we thought we know too, and it didn't work out. That's all part of a plain Big Brother. But I do want to thank you once again for watching and listening to the Have Nots podcast. Make sure you share the podcast throughout all your friends list on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and all that stuff. You can follow me on Twitter at JasonCarter03. Follow Joe
at Joe_Frank FRANC01.
All right, we will see you next week. We might have no eviction. We'll see who will be in the house
you never
and
know.
Who won't be.
We could put the top down, we could ride out. Little green day time with your life now. Yeah, you could bring your friends, we could mob out. Back to my house, yeah, we could vibe out. Then we kick them all out, girl, you're mine now. We could drink a little wine just to wind down. Oh, you a freak, let me find out.